Hey, how's it going? So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the essence of life, basically, and how everything just folds in together to form one congenial thing that makes a whole lot of sense when you view life as a duality that is actually a oneness. So everything is two, but everything is one. So what we see with life is that a person is created by two people, two sets of information that form one being. So a male and a female will make another. So two makes one. So 1 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 3. Or 1 plus 1 is 2. So our understanding of life is actually limited in the sense that we apply our knowledge to a certain template that is academic. So everything is like supposed to be academically understood and put in a certain framework that just applies to the template of a school teacher or something like that. But then what we have is that we have our own minds, and everyone is a creative being. So essentially, everyone is this creative being. So our creativity is always trapped because of the way that the contraptions of society have been engineered. That you're not able to do what you're here to do because you have to do what was here before you. So we have to fall into this formation and to just fall in a form where everyone is uniform, that they've always been doing something in this way, and you have to just follow the tradition. So tradition is the trade is the business, the mode of operation, but the trade is actually to exchange. That's the tradition. So traditionally people are used to doing things in a certain way, and this tradition has been going on, and I just really feel like that's about to change because of the way that life is constantly evolving, because change is the only constant in life. And I guess that's why I'm making this video for a person like you, so that you can also change something and break tradition. Like, not to say that you're not supposed to respect things that are your heritage or inheritance, but it's just to be able to know that you are a person who is able to create a different template. Just because your life has been forged doesn't mean that you have to be in that form, or lest you forget yourself. So I'm just going to be talking about creativity and what actually forms everything. So in the story of Adam, Eve, and the garden and the tree, the fall of man, everything that happens is that you are introduced to a situation where Adam and Eve are in a certain situation, and a certain character is introduced, a device, actually a deviant that causes them to deviate, which is the devil, D-I-V-I, deviant, deviate, devil, which is Diablos. So Diablos means ables, which means is able to dissect, able to devise. So through this we have what we call creation, or we have what we call the leap or the development in all mankind and in all of our minds, because through this process what we have is a process of mitosis. So mitosis is when when a single cell splits into two, and this is exactly what happened, that it duplicated because of the Diablos, Diablos. So it was duplicated, it was divided, and this is actually growth. So like it or not, the serpent in the garden created a situation where growth was necessary. Development, D-E-V-L, is devil. Devil is develop. So this is what we have, and this is just a fact of life, that through this duplication we got our world. Like what happens in mitosis is this: you have this is your cell, right? And then it's just divided like that. And when it's divided like this is what we are actually calling the division, right? So this division actually is something that happened once, and then of course this division also had to duplicate itself, and then we had this. So now we have this this structure. So let me just make it a little bit neater to the best of my abilities. And this is what we have. So what we have is this cross, and what we have is actually, this is actually the symbol for Earth. This is the symbol for Earth. And you just know that all of the humans in this world communicate through symbols. These letters or words that I'm using right now through this language is just symbolic. So this is a symbol that symbolizes Earth, and this is a symbol that symbolizes everything that is in existence. So with this symbol, what we actually have is we have north, south, east, and west. We have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. We have, this is a face, and we have all of the four senses that are on my face. We have the eyes, we have the nose, the mouth, the ears, okay? And it's touching all of these things. So here we have 4, we also have 5. We have earth, wind, water, fire. Here we have Yod, He, Vav, Vwe. We have God here. We have plasma, right? Solid, liquid, and gas. We have this here, right here. We have 4 fingers. And what is this? This is a thumb. So this is 4 and this is 5. And we have only 4 fingers, right, on each hand. And then we have a thumb, but we say there are 5 of them. So this is a very, very powerful symbol that actually symbolizes Earth and everything that is in it. Symbolizes earth, wind, and fire, all of the elements that create everything in existence. It symbolizes all of the cardinal points and everything that is on this flat plane. So through this we have an understanding of the world around us through the shapes that form everything in existence. So we have 3 primary shapes, which is the circle, the square, and the triangle. So when we actually connect these corners here, we'd see that, alright, so we'd see that now we have just the circle, and then we have we have a square, so squaring the circle, and this is how everything comes about and is actually formed through this structure. So if you actually pull this apex and let's pull it out and look at it on a flat plane, you'd see that this is actually a pyramid. This is a pyramid shape. So now we have all of the shapes in existence through the understanding of what this is. So when we are looking at this, we're looking at the division, and this division actually forms all of our time, and our life is a lifetime. So our life is actually time. So when we talk about our lifetime, we're talking about this, because when you look at a clock, you have 2 types of clocks. You have an analog and a digital. So the analog clock is the circular clock, and it has these hands that move in certain angles. Like this would be 3 o'clock, right? And this would be another time. This would be like 1:20 or something. And all of these are just angles, right? All of these are angles in a circle, all of them. So they move in an analog clock, and analog just means an analogy. So it's analogous with a circle. And then the other one is a digital clock, and this is how we record our lifetimes. A digital clock, which would be in blocks, which would be like this. This would just be 1, and a 0 would just be in boxes, in squares. So it's either that it's in circles or it's in squares, and time moves in this way. So analog is an analogy, which is sometimes imprecise, while a digital, the box is very precise. It's like matter, it's fixed. But then the analog is like air, it moves. So with this we have land, and then we have the spirit, which inspires, the inspiration, and also we still have the actual land, the ground, what is fixed, what is immutable, the ground itself. So it's like when you spin yourself around when you're a kid, you like spin yourself around until you're so dizzy that you just want to be grounded. So the box is the grounding, the precise, the meticulous, the detailed, while the circular is the turbulent, the spiritual, the feminine, the cold, you know. So all of this is just this division. So when we're talking about this, we're actually talking about this mitosis, and this is the egg, right? And our life is just all about sex, and sex is the essence of our being. Sex is the essence. So essence is actually just this S. Oh wow, this was horrible. S, right? Then you have this. So this is the essence of what our life is, which is sex, which is male and female. This is what all of the sex is. And when we're actually looking at this, what we have is just an S and another S here, right? Or we just have this. We just have this actually, which is this, which is that, which is this. So the motion of the cross, which is actually the motion of this division of life, of change, of vibration, of frequency, of magnetism, of electricity, is just all of this. This is actually the essence of it. So when we're looking at these symbols, these are neither good nor bad, but these are actually just there. This is just the symbology that we use in order to create a framework that works with how the world is actually structured. So with this one, with this symbol here, this is the Tao, and this is actually what is yin and yang. And when we have yin and yang, we have the essential elements that form creation, the essence, the S, which is the serpent, which is the division, which is the duplication, which is the doubling, which is growth, which is development. So this is actually how it actually developed, because when they were in the garden, they were created as Adam and Eve at once. And when you read the scripture, it actually tells you that at first these Adam and Eve were not Adam and Eve. They were Adam and woman, or they were man and woman. And then Adam just means man or people, plural. So after they were diabloed, after the diablo came, the devil came and devised a way to divide. And after they were divided, Adam said that you shall be called Eve. So before they were man and woman, and then after they developed into one and two, which is Adam and Eve, odd and even. So this is how this came about. So the reason why people say that the sin that caused the fall of man was sexual is because they felt impelled after they ate the fruit. They felt impelled to put on clothes to cover their private areas, because it seemed like there was a certain thing that involved those areas that gave them a certain awareness. So the essential understanding that they got was that the essence of their life is actually the sex, which is actually the mating, the pairing, and to know everything and its creation, its constituent parts, which is the atom, which is the sperm, which is the semen, which is the egg, which is the womb, which is the matrix. So it was all a matrix or mating trick that they got to understand. So through understanding this matrix, they were separated. So they were separated into Adam and Eve, 1 and 2, instead of man and woman. So man and woman is one flesh, but then Adam and Eve are two. So it's 1 and 2, odd and even, Adam and Eve. So this is the split that happened. This is the mitosis. This is actually the development that occurred and created everything through knowledge of good and evil. This is the knowledge of good. This is the knowledge of evil. So this is why it's two. This is why it's two. So all of this is just two stuff. So this could be a swastika, like used with the Nazis, but this is the same thing. This is the same thing. So this is just the essence. So S, this is why we start with an S. This is S, right? This is S, and this stands for the serpent. And what does it stand for? This stands for the money, which is actually, this is what Moses was using when they were in the wilderness. It says that if you look up to the mountain, you will be saved. And then this is when the Israelites were being tormented with snakes, serpents, and then they had to look onto a stick that had a serpent on it so that they could be saved. And then the same thing happened, is that Jesus said that just like Moses in the wilderness, you will get something after, I'm forgetting the verbatim quote, but then you will not believe or something like that until the Son of Man is lifted up, just like Moses in the wilderness. He was talking about this, the essence. So this essence is very important, and before you get spooked out, I just want you to know that this is actually the essence that alright, this is a bad S, but then this is the essence. So I don't know like how to do it right. Alright, this is just how it is. What this is a sine wave. Can you see that? So a sine wave is something that's going up and down and up and down. So a sine wave is spelled like this. You start with an S, then you have an I, and then oh boy, like I can't even see what I'm writing here. Alright, so you have a sine, but of course you first of all have the sin. So the sin and the sine. So let's just start with the sine, because what we're talking about is this wobble. So the sine wave symbolizes our frequency, our vibration and energy. So this energy is symbolized through the sine wave, which is just going up and down and up and down. It's zigzagging. So this type of energy is actually embodied in all of our speech and our action and through our interactions. So when we talk about the sine wave, we are talking about the ability to create sound, to create speech, and through our words we have this world. The Jews, the Hebrews have always been saying that this world is created through our words. So this world is actually essentially just our words, or sine waves, which is up and down. So sine wave means, sine, S-I-N-E in Latin, means without. Okay, it means without. So without is something not being there, something that exited, something that is missing. Okay, so without is what happened. Like we got into sin because of a certain vibration. The serpent's tongue just moves like so it just moves like a sine wave. So this sine wave is the essence of sin. This sine wave is S-I-N-E, S-I-N, sin. So our sin came from this sound, the sine wave. So we were taken out, which is without, taken out, because we were sinning. We got the sin, or the sine wave. So with this one, we actually were removed from this place, which is what it is to be without. So now we are without the tree of life. We are without the presence of God. We are without all of this. So this is S-I-N-E, sine. So to be in sin is to live without God. To be in sin, that is what it actually means. So this wobble means that with and out. To have not. So this is the wobble of life, the duality that creates everything else, good and evil. So when we got this knowledge, what we actually lost was the knowledge of good that we had through gaining knowledge of evil. So we got all of these two elements. So with this sine wave, this is the problem that we actually faced, and understanding this will lead you towards understanding the sin, that the essence of all of this is actually that we didn't have the true understanding of what sex is, the power of sex, S-E-X. X has the same signature as S, so S-sex, sex is the essence of man, the sacred essence of you and me. And this is a problem we still have, because the problem is still in the seed. Again, we're talking about essence, seed, essence. So we're talking about the S's, the serpent, the sine wave, the signals, the sound. So all of these things are things that you should be aware of, and you should be aware to know that your vibration is in charge of your entire life, and that the essence of your life is actually your sexual essence. So this essence has to be protected because it's sacred. So through every secretion, through knowing secrets, this is how you actually secrete, because everyone who secretes does so in secret. Like, you're not gonna secrete like in front of everybody, but then this secretion is like without to ejaculate. So you are now without because you have secreted secret essence. So this is how it works. So without is, when you flip it back, it is to outwit or out with. So outwit, we were outwitted by this serpent. So we're supposed to outwit, and then we still have, but then we are without because we were outwitted or out with, and we were out of the garden. So this is the cipher and the knowledge, or how you actually decode this. What happened in the garden, what happened through the serpent, and what is the essence of that story. The essence of it is actually sex. So S-E-X, X sounds like S, S-E-X, X-E-S. So sex is the essence, because your essence in life is actually sex. Whether you're a male or female, which just means what is your sex, what is your essence, what is your essential energy. So this essential energy is being stolen because people are being neutered or neutralized. It's either that you're hot or you're cold. Being lukewarm is the worst. So people are being neutralized because they are neither yin nor yang, which is what they should be, because everything is moving. But if you're neutral, you're just stagnant. You're like dead water. Like if water doesn't move, it actually becomes dead. It loses its electricity, which is what we are. We're water bodies. So we're losing electricity by being neutralized or neutered. So the essence is to understand this, and the essence is that S, the almighty dollar, the sine wave, the S in the yin yang, and all of these things. So just keep that in mind and keep that in heart, because when you understand this, overstand this, and understand this, then you'll know the true essence of who you are and the power that you have. You have this power because you have both male and female within you. This is the thing that you have to know, that even though it's symbolizing duality here, it's symbolizing 1 and 2, yin and yang, but this is one thing. This is symbolizing 4 things, but this is still